This is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lilly would have.
that Jack and Lilly came out of.
Okay. So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea, and then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now, you can see there's two swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where
I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If two kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lilly are all the time yelling, especially Lilly, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lilly. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lilly in the house. So the next thing you know, I came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lilly are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches. And that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them?
May 2nd, 2025. A quiet morning. 2 children vanish. But months later, one woman quietly invites cameras to walk through the very home where it began. She is Janie McKenzie, the grandmother at the center of a mystery pulling a nation apart. And today, she's finally speaking. A pink blanket in the mud. A child's boot print near the woods. A silent patio door. And 2 missing children no one has seen since. But what really happened in those 20 minutes, and why are investigators still divided? Lilly Sullivan was 6. Her brother Jack was 4. On April 29, 2025, they left Salt Springs Elementary, a rural school 18 kilometers from home. A bus ride through wooded roads, then back to a yard filled with laughter and play. On May 1st, they were seen late in the day, walking with their mother, stepfather, and baby sister near Highland Square Mall in New Glasgow. Before we move forward with this big update, please take a moment to comment below with the city you're watching from. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell to stay updated. For exclusives and other cool perks, you can join the channel, link is in the description. Share the video with others. Stories like this must be heard, so we can help prevent future tragedies. The 20-minute window. The morning of May 2nd began as nearly any other. At 6 a.m., Janie sat on her porch, drinking tea. The yard was still. Her trailer barely made a sound when she stood. A quiet rural morning. By 7 a.m., she fed her chickens. At 8:48, her brother Ron called. Janie stayed home, planning to return to bed. At around 9:15, something shifted. Janie lay in bed. Then her dog barked. She heard children, but nothing felt wrong. The yard had two swings, always echoing with laughter. Janie describes Lily's familiar call, "Come on, Jackie." A sibling ritual. But this morning, silence. No laughter. No voices. No creaking of the patio door. Then came Daniel's yell. At first, she thought he was calling them in for breakfast. Yet 10 minutes passed. Janie remained in bed. No footsteps. No voices. Finally, she stood and stepped outside. She saw Malihia holding baby Meadow. She learned the unthinkable: Lily and Jack were gone. Missing, 20 minutes earlier. Back in the trailer, the silence of those 20 minutes looms large. The door, slid open, say the parents, makes almost no noise. But Janie says otherwise. She would have heard it. The evidence. Janie searched the yard, the fort in the woods. She searched alone, before authorities arrived. Sweep after sweep. No footprints. No dropped toys. No sound. Not even a whisper of activity. Yet investigators soon recovered two eerie clues: a pink blanket along Lansdowne Road, confirmed to belong to Lily. A single child-sized boot print on a pipeline trail, over 1 kilometer from the home. But here's the burning question: if Lily and Jack slipped through that back door, why didn't Janie hear a thing? They'd have to cross the yard. They'd have to run to the swings. They'd have to call each other. Yet no voice. No footsteps. No trace, except for a blanket and a boot. So that 20-minute window remains the gap, still unexplained. Did the children wander off, overlooked by grown-ups? Or was someone else involved, someone who knew how to stay silent? 20 minutes. 40 feet of lawn. One silent door. What lies between those moments, and what hasn't been found yet? Sound is everything. Simple words. But they change everything. Because this is the door. The only exit. And what she says about it contradicts everything. I didn't hear anything. And I was up. Sound is everything here. This home, this hallway, these walls, they're not insulated. You hear every breath, every creak. The patio door is less than 15 feet from Janie's room. Even a whisper carries. She says, I was up. I always am. I heard nothing. She insists she was awake. That they left silently. That she heard nothing. But that version is beginning to collapse. The dog didn't bark. Every story here has a silence. A moment when something should have happened, but didn't. The dog always barks at strangers, always. That morning. Barked once. Then nothing. If a stranger lured them out, the dog should have barked non-stop. If they went alone, she should have heard the door. But neither happened. And the theory grows: was the story crafted after the disappearance, to hide something more chilling? The forgotten evidence. While the world zeroed in on the patio, investigators followed something else entirely. A trail. A small boot print found 30 yards into the woods. Found near it, a muddy pink blanket. No adult footprints nearby. Just one, then the trail vanishes. No clear signs of abduction. No signs of return. If a child walks alone in mud, there would be more prints. One means, they stopped walking. Janie's words re-examined. Her tone is measured. Calm. Almost too calm. But is that trauma, or deceit? Timeline contradictions emerge. I was up at 8. Later interview, I didn't get up until 9. And just like that, 60 minutes disappear. So do 2 children. The last confirmed sighting. One day before they vanished. And what happened inside that store, no one will talk about. May 1st, 3:24 p.m. Highland Square Mall. A place filled with life, laughter, and surveillance cameras. Cameras that would soon become evidence. This is the last time the Sullivan children were ever seen in public. Alive. And there's something eerie about the footage. The shadow. They pass the food court. Then turn into a store. Local reports later confirm it was a discount clothing outlet, Fair Price Apparel. And then, a shadow. Barely visible. A man, wearing a gray hoodie, dark jeans. No shopping bags. No companions. No clear purpose. He lingers just long enough to be noticed. And then slips out of frame. That man has never come forward. And investigators never released his image publicly. The mall's main hallway camera loses visual at 3:38 p.m. A full 7 minutes missing from the feed. When the footage returns, Janie and the kids are seen leaving, walking much faster. At 3:45 p.m., they exit the mall. Jack clutches a red balloon. Janie glances behind her, just once. Lilly seems tired, dragging her feet. The footage zooms out. And that's it. That's the last public image of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. The balloon was never found. Questions arise. Why did she take the children shopping just 24 hours before a major custody hearing? Why hadn't she informed Daniel? Was she stalling for time, or saying goodbye? The man in the hoodie appears twice. Once near the shoe store. Once again by the parking lot. RCMP never released the footage. They claimed he wasn't relevant to the timeline. But security logs reveal this individual's car remained in the lot for over 4 hours. And he left. Less than 20 minutes after the Sullivans. Did someone follow them? And if so, did he follow them home? May 2025. In a quiet RCMP interrogation room, Daniel Martell is strapped to a polygraph machine. His face unreadable. His fingers tremble slightly as the examiner leans in. The question, did you kill Lilly and Jack Sullivan? He answers, no. Moments later, a beep. A pause. And then Daniel turns to the investigator and says, I passed. But what does that really mean? Because in this case, even the truth has layers. The session. They asked him everything. Do you know where they are? Did you help someone hide them? Were they already dead when you last saw them? The polygraph examiner probed every dark corner of Daniel Martell's memory. And Daniel claims he passed, with flying colors. But here's the thing, no one outside that room has seen the results. And the RCMP isn't saying a word. Did the test clear him, or just create an illusion of innocence? Because in high-profile cases, polygraphs aren't always used for answers. They're used for leverage, cooperation, or performance. Daniel Martell didn't run. He didn't shut down. He opened his phone, handed over his bank records, sat for every interview. To some, that's the behavior of a father desperate to help. To others, it's a performance. An effort to control the narrative before the truth can catch up. Because sometimes, the most helpful people in an investigation are the ones with the most to lose. Janie Mackenzie no longer walks out her front door. She no longer stands on her own lawn. And when she speaks, she lowers her voice, as if someone's always listening. Not because she's hiding something, but because something, or someone, won't stop watching her. She's not just a grieving grandmother anymore. She's become a symbol of suspicion, a magnet for hate, and the target of thousands of eyes from all over the world. And she says, she's terrified. The circle. She calls it the circle. The small perimeter behind the trailer where she now lives her entire life. A space that doesn't touch the front door, doesn't reach the road, and avoids the fence line. There's a swing set. There's an old plastic playhouse. There's the back door. That's it. Beyond that, the world has become hostile territory. Because online, she's already been tried and convicted. Not by a judge, but by millions of strangers who believe they know exactly what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. The digital mob. They hover in silence. Sometimes in the early morning. Sometimes after midnight. Small black drones, buzzing low above her property, sometimes marked, sometimes not. There are no pitchforks. Just hashtags. No torches. Just TikToks. What started as a missing child alert has mutated into something darker, something crueler. Personal photos of Janie, reposted with captions like, "Killer Grandma." Dozens of YouTube channels uploading exposés. Commenters calculating how far a body could be dragged, in under 60 seconds. For them, Janie McKenzie is no longer a person. She's a theory. She's a thumbnail. She's a target. 600 tips, 0 breakthroughs. Over 600 tips have come in since May. Most anonymous. Some hysterical. A few, possibly helpful. But not one has cracked the case. More than 60 people have been formally interviewed. Some passed polygraphs. Others refused. And now, more than 800 tasks are open across the RCMP's internal system. Still, no solid suspect. No confirmed sighting. And no explanation for how 2 children, just 5 and 7 years old, vanished without a trace, in under 2 minutes, from a property surrounded by cameras. A hope that won't die. Janie McKenzie stands in the grass behind the trailer. She looks down the pipeline trail where she says the children didn't go. And then, with a voice that's tired but steady, she says, "They're not buried. They're not dead. They're somewhere out there, and I'm going to wait for them until the day I die." To some, that sounds like denial. To others, it sounds like a mother's instinct, echoed through generations. This case is far from over. The RCMP hasn't closed any doors. But the pressure, it's building. From the internet. From the media. And from the families desperate for answers. Every drone flight, every interview, every accusation, it's all leading somewhere. But where? What happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan didn't happen in a vacuum. Someone saw something. Someone knows something. Even the smallest detail, a strange car, a comment overheard, a timestamp that doesn't make sense, could change everything. You can be the one who brings Lilly and Jack home. Their faces are fading from the headlines. But they don't have to fade from our memory. If you know something, say something. If you feel something, follow that instinct. Because this isn't just a story. It's a cry for help. Because sometimes, the only thing keeping the truth buried, is silence. If you have any information, contact the Pictou County RCMP. Share this video. Their story deserves to be seen. Subscribe to True Crime O'Clock for real-time updates and unsolved mysteries. Thank you.